to begin this meeting with our land acknowledgements, and I'll start that now. We gather today on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish peoples who've lived in the Salish Sea Basin throughout the San Juan Islands and the North Cascades watershed from time immemorial. Please join me in our expressing our deepest respect and gratitude for Indigenous neighbors, the Lummi Nation and Nooksack tribe, for their enduring care and protection of our shared lands and waterways. Thanks for joining, everybody. My name is Terry Bryant. I'm the director of the Whatcom Homeless Service Center at Opportunity Council, and I'm the chair of this group, the Coalition to End Homelessness in Whatcom County. I'm really excited that everyone is here. Please feel free to introduce yourself in chat. And if you would like to be added to our mailing list so you get all our advocacy opportunities and future agendas, include your email in there. We'll get you added to that. This is also a good time if there's any announcements. And I see Michelle here in the audience. I know there's one pending. Would you like to go ahead and give your pitch, Michelle?
Yes, I would. Thanks so much, Terry. Hi, everybody. I appreciate giving time to me for a couple of words. I'm a board member, a newer board member with Northwest Youth Services. I'm a retiree and recently moved here 2 years ago. So part of my retirement plan is to support nonprofits and with those with missions that are aligned with mine. I was an educator for 30 years and retired. But Northwest Youth Services is hosting a special gathering day on Saturday, October 7th. And I wanted to invite all of you and make all of you aware of that event. It is essentially called the healing, that kind of a healing centered engagement gathering. It's a day of learning. It's a workshop style or symposium style day where we will host a little breakfast, have a keynote speaker, some breakout sessions, lunch, some more breakout sessions, and then a closing session. Then the purpose of the day is to really help educate our broader community about what are the strategies and activities and methods we can use to support our community that are experiencing homelessness, not just youth, but all, but particularly, the focus and expertise this organization has is with youth from 18 to 25, or really 13 to 25. And what are the effective tools and strategies that we as a broader community can learn, understand, utilize as we encounter people in these situations, have experiences with them as neighbors or on the streets as we're visiting downtown, or what else we can do to provide a compassionate and empathetic supportive response as people are moving through these stages of need, going from crisis level and trauma mending all the way into independence and becoming workers in community and living independently. And this is going to be an annual event. This is our inaugural. And the idea is to provide learning and growth for not only people who are service providers in this field already, but also the broader community. So our hope is to have about 300 attendees. It'll be at Whatcom Community College. It'll be a $50 ticket to attend for the day, and that includes the workshops and the meals. And we are really hoping to engage our downtown businesses, our broader community, people who might not have a lot of background and experience with how to interact, engage, and kind of approach a different mindset toward our population that are needing services. And a big way that you can help, and which is why I thank you, Terry, for letting me come, is to really spread the word and just let people know that this is happening, encourage people to attend and be part of this so that we can really, share knowledge and hopefully have a whole approach, a community healing approach to our crisis that we're working with. Thank you, Terry.
You bet, Michelle. There's an ask if you can send a flyer. I'm wondering, you sent me a link to the flyer. Could you put that in the chat?
Yes, I'll add the link to the chat as soon as I can and as soon as I'm
Great.
speaking, because I'm on my phone. So it's going to be tricky to do 4 things at one time. But I'll put the
Understand.
link. And again, it's Northwest Youth Services. It's going to be on their website, but I will also add the ticketing link into the chat. That would be great if you could check it out and really just try to help us get the word out. I think that would be the greatest help. We're also going to ask businesses and organizations if they would feel comfortable buying a ticket for someone who cannot afford a ticket. So we really want students and youth to attend as well. So we're going to be doing some sponsorship work to make sure everyone who wants to come can attend.
Great. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks so much.
Any other community announcements before we get started? Okay, let's start. Our topic this month is employment, which I feel like is kind of the unsung hero. This is a part of our homeless strategy, our plan to end homelessness. It's strategy number 7, economic security. But sometimes we don't really shine the spotlight on, we have so many employment supports in our community, and there's not a lot of knowledge about how people can connect to them. So really grateful to have the speakers we have today. And the longer I do this, I realize we can't build our way out of this. It takes years to build units. If we built 1,000 units today, we wouldn't stop people from becoming homeless. We can't subsidize our way out of this. There's just not enough money. So really, we have to leverage everything that we can. And one way we can do that is encourage people to explore employment and increase their income. So really grateful to have WorkSource Whatcom here, Workforce Northwest, Evergreen Goodwill, Opportunity Council Community Services, and a new program from our Early Learning and Family Services Department of Opportunity Council. And so I think our speakers here are Amy Meredith, Cynthia Silva, Gerald Pleasant, Bowen, Yarrow, Greer, Kevi Veldman. That's a good team of speakers. I think I'd like to start with Amy, if that's okay, because she's got a time constraint. Are you okay with going first, Amy, and kind of telling us about?
Sure.
Great.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Can I go ahead and share my screen?
Absolutely.
All right. So let's see. Here's screen 1. So I see that Cynthia's here. So Cynthia, I'm presuming that you're going to be talking about the council information. I had some information on my slide here, so maybe I might just skip that there.
So Amy, we're actually going to present economic security for all. So go ahead and do whatever you have there.
All right, very good. Thanks so much. All righty. So yeah, just first of all, it's good to see some familiar names, out there. So just lovely. So WorkSource, I've got 3 quick slides here. WorkSource is basically the one-stop center for employment and security training. So there are a lot of services that are provided in this building here. The Employment Security Department and the Northwest Workforce Council. So the Employment Security Department was these are basically all the services that employment specialists for ESD in the WorkSource office do. We do a lot of resume, job search assistance, applying for jobs, creating accounts, that kind of thing. We do a lot of one-on-one mock interview. We do skills assessments. We, assist them with some basic career planning, just to kind of get them started, and then we refer them out to the specialists like Cynthia there. WorkSource has a lot of virtual reemployment workshops. Prior to COVID, they were all in the offices and, across the state and stuff. So now most of them are still virtual. We are slowly getting back to kind of incorporating in-person workshops. So we've got tons and tons of workshops on our calendar, on the WorkSource calendar here. We also work with justice involved participants. We have, I think most offices have a representative that is specifically trained in working with this population here. We have a great self-employment assistance program. Lots of people, when they're receiving, they start receiving unemployment benefits, they think, well, gee, maybe I ought to start thinking about starting my own business here instead of going working for somebody else. So we have a fantastic self-employment assistance program. We make lots of referrals to training and education resources to like the WIOA and worker retraining over at the community colleges. Make lots of community resource referrals, lots of those. And basically, we really, everybody, as we all know here, everybody needs something different, you know, and so we really try to really tailor and customize the support that we provide anybody to specifically what they need there. And we also have a business services rep who works with businesses in our community and how to support them in their hiring and hiring events and so forth. In our office, we have public computers and faxes, scan copies, so they can use everything here as long as it's employment related. We have lots of people coming in that want to use it for other purposes, and you know, but it's only for employment related reasons to be using the equipment here. And of course, we also are connected with the unemployment office, so we help people file unemployment claims. People have lots and lots of questions about issues on their claims, and then a big part of what we do as employment specialists is for people that are receiving unemployment benefits, a certain percentage of them are required to schedule appointments with us for reemployment assessments, and they're very, very comprehensive, and we put action plans together with them and stuff. So that's a big part of what we do as well. I've got to get this thing slided out of the way here. All right, and so on site, we also have a veterans representative. He predominantly works with service-related injuries or veterans that have a significant barrier to employment. We also have labor and industries representative here twice a week. And then we have 3 different case management programs. We have a BFET case manager, and that's for those of you who don't know, people receiving food benefits. They would qualify for this program. WorkSource, these are DSHS referrals, and the Trade Act case manager. So these are people that, have lost their positions due to, overseas, imports or whatever it happens to be, but out of the country issues. So so we certainly give priority service to veterans and their eligible partners, and our office is open 8 to 4:45, regular business hours throughout the week. Again, this office used to be just really packed because our parking lot was always full because we had so many in-office activities going on that we just had a lot of traffic here. So now that everything's virtual, the office is very quiet, but we're certainly here. Anybody can just walk in. They don't need an appointment, but we will make virtual appointments. If somebody doesn't want to come in the office or they want to have just a private one, we'll certainly do that as well. Does anybody have any questions about any of these services that we provide for the Employment Security Department here to the public? Any questions? All righty, I was very thorough, obviously. All right, so Cynthia, you just jump in if I say anything incorrect or you'd like to elaborate on. So our partner here at the WorkSource office is the Northwest Workforce Council, and they predominantly work with WIOA, the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, and they've got adult programs and youth programs. So adult programs, they have to meet income requirements here, and then they have a dislocated worker program. So someone might have been terminated, laid off, maybe they exhausted their unemployment benefits or are a displaced homemaker. So these are some of the services that those coordinators provide. So they do really in-depth career assessments and exploration. They have on-the-job training and apprenticeship programs, which are fabulous, skills upgrade, training for in-demand occupations. Obviously, everything has to be in demand if the government's going to pay for it. And then there, like most programs, there are financial supportive services attached to it, just like the other programs of Trade Act and Work First and BFET. They have, WIO also has transportation assistance, money for tools, uniforms, work attire, certifications, super, super valuable. And then they do follow-ups, and I'm not sure how long their retention piece is there, but they do follow-up services. And then here we go, there is a young adult program that's absolutely fantastic. So this is for youth age 16 to 24 that are not attending school and do have a significant barrier. So maybe they are dropped out of high school, they're just simply low income, they've got they're deficient in basic skills, they might be an English learner, and they might be justice involved, homeless, pregnant, parenting, or disabled. Okay, so it really encompasses a lot here. So they can provide tutoring and skills training, dropout prevention, occupational skills, workforce preparation, transition to post-secondary education and training, and they can get some mentorship and paid or unpaid work experience. There's guidance and counseling, leadership development, and again, we've got financial support funds available for that as well. And if anybody wanted to get some more information about the council's amazing program here, you can certainly email them here. This is their email address. Does anybody have any questions about the council or the WEO program?
I do. I was wondering if you could say more about the apprenticeships.
Yeah, Cynthia, could you say more about the apprenticeships?
I can.
I
yeah.
don't work in that department. She does.
So
Thank
we
you.
have on the job training opportunities, work experience opportunities, and some apprenticeships right now. I they're sort of on a case-by-case basis. So if somebody applied and said, I want to learn to become a carpenter, then we would try to find an apprenticeship for them. I don't have one right now, but we would definitely, if somebody was eligible for the program and they came in and they expressed an interest in a specific occupation, then we would do our best to try to find something that would fit, whether that's on the job training or apprenticeship, or it could be just a limited time work experience, 3 to 6 months.
I have another question, but I'm watching to see if anyone puts their hand up. So please do that if you want to ask a question so I don't talk over the top of you. But my next question is, what occupations are in demand right now?
Well, there's a lot of occupations in demand, a lot of medical, registered nurse, dental hygienist, medical assisting, just
Tech
about
industry.
anything.
Yeah, there's lots and lots.
Yeah.
And you can also go to the ESD website and look up labor market, and you can find the demand and decline list, so to kind of get a little bit more finite information, because it's different for every county. And then labor market is really kind of topsy-turvy right now anyway. I mean, they'll tell me that an occupation is in high demand in Whatcom County, and I'll go do job searches, and there's very few jobs, and vice versa. So, it's still hard to get, some good accurate data, post COVID, but they do the best that we can, but you can find it there.
Great, thank you.
Okay, I just had one last slide here, and this is just the WorkSource website. Now, you could spend 8 hours going through this website. There's so much content on here. So this is just our homepage here. These are the most common things that that people use our website for, is just job search. This is a typical job search board, just like all the other job boards, Indeed and everything else. So you can do that here. The thing is that we really encourage people to use a variety of job boards, because, employers do pay a lot of money to post their positions, like on Indeed and Glassdoor and all this kind of stuff. It is free for employers to post on the WorkSource website, because, it's government and they've already paid into it. So they get to use this for free. So we just really kind of encourage, just to make sure you have a comprehensive search. So do this. So there's job search there. We also have, under our career tools, we have the calendar of all of our workshops. And again, we have lots and lots of workshops. We post all the hiring events in the state there. So you can just search hiring events for, our county or region, and find local ones here. You can create an account and apply for jobs that way. This is a really handy tool that you can post your resume and have employers view it and then contact you. There are career assessments on this website. You can gather labor market information, and you can find, oh, there you go. You can find local in-demand industries. Okay. And this is not hyperlinked, so I can't go to it, but so that's what I have. I've got my email address up here if anybody has any questions about anything. Is there anything else that anybody would like to chat about?
Don't see any hands up, but thank you so much for your time. Oh, is there someone who has a question?
Oh, no, I was just thanking you back. I think you were.
Oh,
All right. Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it. I'll stop sharing now.
take care, Amy. And Cynthia,
you.
thanks so much for that. Okay, moving on. Let's hear from Evergreen Goodwill, if that's okay. I think we have, oh, you know what? I wanted to mention too that Chad paid WorkSource a nice compliment in the chat that the office is easy to access, easy to use services.
Oh, good.
Okay. So we have Gerald and B from Evergreen Goodwill.
Well, I think I'll go ahead and jump in. Hi, I'm B. Bowen from, hi, nice to meet you. Here at the local Evergreen Goodwill, we provide employment and training and job placement services. And I'd like to start by showing you basically what I do. So what does an employment specialist at Goodwill do? I provide individual help to people who are enrolled in our job training programs. A little bit more about that. But I also am available to help people find a job. And I do that without barriers. And I'll tell you how I do that in a little bit. If you are working with us, we're going to give you a $25 Goodwill gift card. If you land a job, we will also provide gift cards to folks who come in for special needs. Like, for example, someone came in a couple of days ago and he was so excited. He got a job interview, but he didn't have a job. I didn't have money for clothing. So, and I believe I actually need to share my screen. Do I need to do that? Yes, I do. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay. There we go. Everyone see that? Okay, great. Okay, so, people can come off the street, and if they have been hired, if they have a job interview, we'll go ahead and help them with a gift card and perhaps even do some shopping with them. I am a former HR director and a small business owner, so I pride myself in helping people create resumes that are really going to sell them, targeted resumes and cover letters that are going to sell them to employers. I do interview coaching. I fill out online applications. Here at Goodwill, we often do hiring events and employer information events. And this is very similar to many of our partners in the community. We also have free employment workshops. And I am very strong on advocacy because I've been doing this work locally for a long time, as has Amy. And so we know a lot of the local employers, and we can be helpful in fast tracking through advocacy. We also do a lot of career exploration and can do work on helping you keep your job. Now, how do we do this? So, okay, let me get that down. All right, so we're currently registering for job training classes, and we have a variety of job training classes. Our computer and digital literacy classes are all taught by master's level folks. And the computer and mobile basics is great because it, for many older people, they don't know how to work their phone. And job search is something that is done now by phone. So we teach people how to use their cell phone. We also, of course, can do that on the computer too, but it's really our desire to have people be comfortable so that they can apply online using their phone. We have Microsoft PowerPoint, and this year we're adding an introduction to social media graphics and the Canva platform. So that's that's there. We do Microsoft Word and Word and Google Docs. And we also have a large program for English for speakers of other languages. And then for many homeless people, we have found that they really need to go back to school. So we have an on-site high school and completion and GED program taught by a wonderful instructor. And we're very proud that we offer this in the morning and also in the evening to make it an easy access. So, and then we also have support services, and let me show you what that looks like. Back over here. So when people are in our program, we can provide them, when they're an enrolled student, we can provide them with help with glasses, getting medical insurance, legal information, immigration, transportation, which can include gas cards and bus passes. We also have a a weekly food bank every Monday from about 12:30, and it lasts for as long as the food lasts. We have an emergency fund. One thing that we is very popular is that we provide hygiene items to people off the street who need it. We can also help with household goods, education advice, access to financial education, though I think that the Opportunity Council has a wonderful program. And then we can do referrals to housing, dental, mental health, medical, and childcare. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to create housing, because as we all know, housing is very, very hard to find, but the case manager can go ahead and help in that search for housing. Now on the second page, this is where people who are not able to be or don't want to be involved in Goodwill job training can still come to Goodwill on Mondays and Wednesdays from 1 to 2:30 p.m., where I have myself and trained volunteers able to help people get their jobs. And so on Mondays and Wednesdays, I help people with resumes, online application, interview coaching, job search, and anyone can come to see me. In addition, we have public workshops that are free, where we've got our series starting up with resumes that get interviews beginning on Thursday, October 10th. It's a 2-hour workshop. It can be either in person or online. We do an online job search that is very focused on using your cell phone to gain access to jobs. We have a wonderful, if you're working with someone who or know of someone who needs to figure out how to dress for success, or if they're homeless, they may not have clothing to go to work or to interview. And so we have a workshop called Dress for Success, and we'll provide you with a $25 gift card. And then finally, we do the interviewing success tips and strategies. And all our workshops are locally based and geared toward people living in Whatcom County. And we talk a lot about what local employers look for and how you target and how you prepare for a local job interview. We also, thank goodness, we have a wonderful partner in Express Employment, and we offer mock interview practice here at the Job Training Center. And they are our interviewers, our mock interviewers, and we're very, very grateful for them. But one of the things that I want to talk about with you is our ability to take people who've not been working for a long time and create resumes for them. So, for example, this was a gentleman out of the Lighthouse Mission who had not worked for 5 years. And, you know, how do you create a resume that is going to focus on what he can do? So, in this case, the gentleman, we called him Don Sparky. Turns out that he had 20 years experience as a union electrician. And we laid out, excuse me, all the skills and abilities that he had. And then sent it off to an employer who looked at it, hired him at $32 an hour. And that was a way that he was able to get reemployed at a good wage. Another resume, again, this was someone who was living in the Walmart parking lot. But she came and updated her cashiering skills with us, had a great letter of recommendation, and she was able to get a job right away. So it's a matter of helping, and in some cases, actually doing the resume for someone. Because, you know, if you're homeless, you just may not have the skills to do a good resume. And so we at Goodwill feel it's our mission, even in the job lab, to go ahead and provide that one-on-one attention and help to get someone a really good resume. So last but certainly not least, I want to talk about this wonderful new program that we have that might be a real boost for people wanting to get out of homelessness. And that is, we have a scholarship now that a grant that we got through the Mount Baker Kidney Foundation, where we have $20,000 a year for 5 years to provide scholarships to people who are current Goodwill students. And it can be to a college, to a university, to a trade, you know, and so that way we can really help lift people up out of poverty through greater employment and training opportunities. So that is basically it. And oops. And does anyone have any questions?
There's one in the chat. And I want to
Okay.
mention there's a bunch of thanks recognizing you in the chat as well, B.
No, thank you, everyone.
But Lewis is curious more about what kind of support with legal and immigration what does that look like?
Well, if someone is a student, we can work with them using our employment and our case manager, Simran, and she will explore different avenues with what someone can need and also the funding of it. So for example, you know, one thing that we don't do in our program is that we certainly don't ask questions around someone's immigration status. Everyone is welcome here at our center. Though one thing I should mention, on August 30th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., Iris Northwest is partnering at Goodwill to provide a legal clinic. And so that's going to be a free legal clinic. There will be translators there. And so they'll be able to meet with a lawyer, an attorney from different entities, including law advocates, and I believe Skagit Legal Aid is going to be there. Okay, so that's another opportunity.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had no idea that the services at Goodwill was that robust. So I just want to tell you how impressed I am about that. And I really appreciated the resumes you showed because you're focusing on strengths, and the people we serve come with skills. They have life experience. They're the experts in their life. And sometimes it's hard for people in crisis to be able to access those strengths that they inherently bring. So I just really appreciate that about your resume building, and that made me happy. Oh, you're cutting out, B. I don't know if it's your microphone or what. Oh,
I'll say something for B. Her skill-based resume writing is excellent. That's something that she does very well.
thank you. Appreciate that. We can't hear you, B. I'm so sorry. I think it might be your headset because you're not muted.
Make sure you're plugged in, B.
Oh gosh, we can't hear you. I'm so sorry. I think while you try to work on that, I'm going to go to the next group. Okay. But thank you so much for being here and for your presentation. Really, really appreciated. I think we're going to go now. I saw that Gerald was here. Is there anything he'd like to add? Oh, you did. You just did.
Well, I'm here this is my first time being in this meeting, so I'm here to support B so I can find out, how I can contribute going forward. So,
Great. Thanks, Gerald. And you're both welcome to attend going forward. We meet every other month, the same day of the month, same time, same Zoom link.
right. I'm on the calendar.
Great. Okay, unless I see any other questions, I'm going to move on here to Opportunity Council's Employment Services. And I think we'll start with Yarrow, if that's okay. Thank you, Yarrow.
Yes, hi. Thank you all for being here. And I know Kevi and I are sharing this spot, and I want to give lots of time for Kevi's program because it's super interesting and just such a great resource for people in the community. But I just wanted to kind of let people know that, Opportunity Council does also have an employment program, and it's, I know that we do so much, and obviously we do so much around housing, but our employment programs is a super easy entry program for people that are wanting to increase their income. And, it can be a really long wait for housing sometimes for folks, just with, like Terry said, with what's going on with housing and what's available. So, really, if people want to work and they want to increase their income and then maybe getting rental assistance to get into a place is a better idea for them, maybe a little bit more tangible for them, so they don't have to, maybe wait for a while for something, then I really just cannot say enough about working with the employment teams that you've already heard from and from the, Opportunity Council employment teams. So we run a BFAT program. We run a foundational community support program. I won't go into all the details about it, but basically if people are on basic food, people have a mental health or substance use diagnosis, and they want to work, there's a program for them to have intensive case managers. We have 2 case managers here, and so do the other places, but we work weekly with folks. We can do anything with them to help them prepare for employment. We also can include helping them navigate homeless systems, helping them get to mental health appointments, helping them get car repairs and clothing and gas vouchers and anything, because we need everything in life going right for us to be able to maintain work, or at least feeling steady and secure for us. And so we really are trying to do those wraparound services so people can get can increase their income. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of put it out there that we do run a program. Like I said, we have 2 case managers. They love their jobs. They're super passionate about what they do. We have people getting employment. They're very dedicated. And, you know, if anyone is interested, you know, our Community Resource Center does direct referrals into that program. Clients can fill out their interest with that. And, you know, our case managers are able to get a hold of them within a week or 2 of getting that, you know, interest form and that referral form. I will get Terry our referral form, and she could send that out, because anybody can be referred to our programs as well, just like anyone else. And if she can send that out after this. And yeah, that's kind of the little spiel I wanted to give there. And now, Kevi.
Actually, before there was a question in the chat, Carrie. I don't want to overstep that. I think that was a
Thank
good
you.
question.
Yeah, and I think some folks who have already spoke needed to jump off, but maybe others that are still here can answer. So Catherine Orlowski asked, are any of these programs working on sustainable wages, as many jobs like early learning workers can't afford the cost of living, but we desperately need early learning workers as a fundamental piece to maintaining the workforce? And that is very true, and probably a struggle that every employer struggles with here. Any comments on the sustainable wage? I mean, one thing I noticed with Amy's presentation, Sylvia's, was that a focus on trades. And right now, the trades have pretty good wages. So that would be my inclination, but I'm not an expert in employment.
I can tell you for WIOA, we concentrate on 3 key sectors, and that's medical, advanced manufacturing, and construction, and support only those programs that are not only in demand, but also pay a self-sustaining wage. So if the question is, you're right, some of early learning, that it isn't probably a self-sustaining wage, but for our program, we don't support training in that particular sector. I don't know if that helps answer the question or not.
I mean,
It's a good, go ahead.
Go ahead, Terry. I mean, I certainly understand that. I know I also help to run our Whatcom Asset Building Coalition here in town, and that is certainly topics that come up there. And we've just kind of been talking a little bit about that, of how we might do that, how we might promote places that do really higher living wages that are able to be sustainable. I saw, Catherine, that you're on the Child and Family Wellbeing Task Force. I am too. So I know that that's certainly something that hopefully our community is focusing on, because I know those early learning and childcare positions are challenging. I know from employment with our team, we're not necessarily doing something on a big level with that. However, we are allowing, I mean, anybody that wants to work with us, I mean, the whole thing is that we work on any of their employment goals. So if they want to be able to work in that sector and they can't necessarily afford that, but that's their passion, then we can certainly help how they navigate, asking for a raise, or how we can support them if they want to work another job to support that. Although I hate even thinking that people have to do that when they're working in those jobs. Certainly we will support people in any job they're wanting, even if it's not a sustainable living job, if that's a goal of theirs.
And I think that's why it's so wonderful in this community that there's so many training opportunities for people to, increase their marketability, increase their, employment, values. There's just so many opportunities. I mean, my goodness, you can access LinkedIn Learning through the public library system and take those workshops for free and get certifications for free. I mean, these are wonderful things to be able to add to your resume and to be able to speak to in interviews and so forth. So yeah, it's a really tough, I was just trying to think of like care aides and so forth. I mean, those are almost minimum wage jobs, and it's really unfortunate, but tough.
Isn't it frustrating that some of our most important jobs pay the least? Caring for children. I mean, yeah. Anyway, my editorializing. Thank you so much, Yarrow. And one thing I wanted to actually just describe, because sometimes it's confusing in the community. When we talk about the CRC at Opportunity Council, that is the team you meet at the front desk. You don't have to go anywhere special. You come to 1111 Cornwall, you come in and ask for help. You're immediately dealing with resource experts. So I just want to make sure that people understand how accessible that is. And that's also a team that Yarrow oversees. So I'll stop talking and hand it over to Kevi to talk about this new initiative in ELAFS. ELAFS is what we call Early Learning and Family Services. I'm sorry. Economic security for all. Thank you, Kevi.
Great. I'll be presenting with Cindy. Cindy, are you able to share our slides?
Can you see them?
Yes. Thanks, Cindy. So hi, folks. I'm Kevi Veldman, and I work at the Opportunity Council, and I partner with Northwest Workforce Council and Cindy Silva, and we get to work on this really interesting, amazing program called EXCA, which stands for Economic Security for All. Next slide. So EXCA was an in-house program through the Opportunity Council. About, it was 7 or 8 years ago it started, and it was called Project Exit. Basically, it was a program that we offered to Head Start and ECAP families where they could spend 2 years working on financial literacy. And it was an opportunity for families to design goals that they had surrounding finances, and they were paid an incentive for working on them. And then we've expanded the program and collaborated with Northwest Workforce Council and added to that program. They brought us on, but we've added to the program the ability for career services and training. We offer in the program a year-long financial resiliency program where we help families and participants set goals and work on budgeting and savings. And the EXCA program now, like I said, instead of it just being financial literacy, it also has a career services component. So our program goals are set to help move families out of poverty, provide financial awareness, build resilient communities, and employment advancements. And I'm going to continue and start speaking a little bit about the financial literacy portion. And then Cindy will take over and talk a bit about the career portion. I know we're more focused on careers and jobs and employment on this call, so I'll keep this part brief, just so for time's sake. But if you guys have questions or want more depth per slide, you can go ahead and let me know. But we start our program off with all of our participants taking FLAIR, which is our Financial Literacy and Renters Education. And that is a class that the Community Services Department, which Yarrow oversees, teaches as well to our community members. So we have all of our participants take the 7-week course along with their mentors, and we meet once a week, and we start off the cohort with our basic financial skills. We talk to families about their money habits, helping them identify like why they spend, on what they spend. It's a big class about a lot of reflection. So that way there's like not a lot of shame, but just a lot of ability for family to like think about what they're doing with their money. Then we also help them with strategies, budget skills, credit, establishing credit, building credit, and also landlord tenant laws that are up to date. Next, yeah, go to Knowledge Nights. Thank you. Knowledge Nights, after we finish our FLAIR program, is once a month we meet with the families and we help with rotating topics to help families with more resources. So a lot of those topics are, you know, maybe it's childcare aware, that's going to be available for the summer now that Head Start's ending, or, you know, school's getting out of session, and working with families on any financial tips that may be going on. We talk a lot about like free programs or free activities that's going on in the summer. We talk about like meal planning, budget tips, that kind of thing. And so there's a financial incentive for the families to participate. with that. And then we offer a multi-generational child curriculum. We have a specialist on our staff who has designed the curriculum based off of a lot of different research that she's done, and with different like money savvy and different, I can't remember all the names, I apologize, but she created this program to help children learn about money, and then just to connect families together and bond over money and kind of break that taboo on what money is. A lot of children and families don't talk about money since there's a lot of trauma based around money. And so the idea is that the packets are just something that the families can do together. And there's an array of age groups. So we send information to, like, you know, a child that's 3 to 5, completely different than a child that's in high school. So Amanda has been working on that for quite a while, and it's a definite, like, it's a valuable piece to the program. And then actually, Cindy, would you just go to the mentor one real quick? I apologize. So our mentorship program is part of the program as well, where our volunteers, our community members that have a heart to serve with our families, they can be past participants, they can have life experience, they can be bankers, and we invite an array of people to join us on this program and partner with families. So we give them training and support, and then we help the mentors with just information that they can provide throughout their, like helping families with resources to complete their financial goals, and then also how to develop a goal. So we have like a goal training class as well that we offer both of them. After Flare, we do we match our participants together with volunteers, the mentors, and we do it based on experience or what type of goals they want to do, personality, language, anything like that. A lot of times some families connect with mentors and ask to be partnered with them. And then I think the best part about the program is the incentive structure. We pay our families to be in this program and to complete their goals. And so families have the ability to earn up to like $2,700 from our portion of the program. So if they complete their Flare, we give them $100, and they attend their family knowledge nights, they get $100. And then the rest of the money is earned by completing goals. We also offer a completion bonus. So when a family does just one goal and, you know, attends Flare and all the attendance, they can get an additional $250. We help families open child savings accounts for their kids, so that way they can learn about the importance of saving. It's something that we kind of have like a designed event that we help families go to banks and open accounts with their kids and talk to them about it. And so if they put up to $250 in there, we match them for that. And then if they write a short-term goal and complete it, they get $200, and they have the option of doing 2 of those. And if they complete a midterm goal, they get $500. And if they complete a long-term goal, they get $1,000. So that's how they earn the $2,700.
Now it's my turn. So Amy, I know, has already touched on an awful lot of the services that we do here at Northwest Workforce Council through the WIOA program. And that's what we've paired with Opportunity Council to make the EXO project. Career coaching, exploration, we have work experience positions, we help with job search, and then we can help with qualified training programs. As I said, it needs to be in one of the 3 key sectors: manufacturing, medical, or construction, and it needs to be for an in-demand occupation. So Amy said it very well: when the government's paying for the funding, they want to make sure that we're putting money into something that's going to pay a self-sustaining wage. For exploration, we'll sit down and we'll identify interests, strengths, work values, look at labor market information. Is the job in demand? How much is going to pay? There's virtual job shadows available where they can go online and just, it's basically videos that they can watch to see what is this job really going to look like? What does a day in a life of an accountant look like? And then training program research: where's the best place for someone to be able to go to school, you know, which is the right one for them. Career coaching, we help them develop a career plan, work on resume, cover letter, their interviewing skills. We do mock interviewing and help them with online applications if they're not very familiar with how to do that. For training, we can help with occupational skills. By far is the one that we do the most of. If somebody wants to be an RN or they want to be a medical assistant, maybe they want to become a welder, we can help fund the training in those key sectors for in-demand occupations like those, up to $1,500 a quarter for up to 2 years. There's also on-the-job training opportunities where someone will start a job. They have to interview for the job, and if they're chosen, we pay half the salary for the business to train the person, with the outcome, as long as they're successful during their training, that they would get full-time employment at the end of that on-the-job training, which is, you know, usually about 6 months. Work experience, we pay $16.50 an hour, and those can be part-time or full-time. And they're very limited time frames. These are really for folks who don't have anything on their resume or very limited work experience. And they're just 3 to 6 months. And then the incumbent worker program is designed for someone who might already have a job, but maybe it's a low paying job, and there are positions available at their employer that they could, if they just needed, if they just had some training, be able to work up and get into that self-sustaining wage. So we help with that. Job search, we help develop a job search plan. I'm going to go a little faster because, like I said, Amy's already touched on a lot of this. Assistance with applications, job referrals, and interview debriefs. And we're going to skip over here. With this program with EXA, for career services, they can earn incentives. Now this, I just want to make sure we're clear. If somebody's just enrolled in WIOA, they don't get these incentives. They have to be co-enrolled in EXA and WIOA to get these incentives, but they'll earn $100 for completing a budget calculator with us. And we do that twice, once in the beginning and once at the end of the program. And that's how the state's going to gauge whether they're putting money. This EXA is a pilot program still. It's funded right now through June 2025. But they need to be able to show that this has had some outcome. And so that's what they're going to determine using the self-sufficiency calculator, you know, what kind of progress have we made. Also, we'll do $100 for completing the WOWI career assessment, and it helps folks who don't already know what they want to get into, help them to explore what they might be interested in. Then we can also, if someone doesn't have their GED or they don't have their high school diploma, or maybe they're English language learners, there are incentives for doing that. For your high school diploma, you get $100. For your GED, $100, $50 for each GED test, and $200 for basic skills at a community college. For work experience, $100 when you start after 1 week, and $500 when you've successfully completed that work experience. For training, it's $100 when you start. There's $100. This on the job is just specific to on the job training, but there's $100 for your first month of on the job training. If you're in school for occupational skills training, you get $50 when you send your transcripts in at the end of the quarter, and $100 when you get your certification. There are some workshops and online learning modules that they can earn $25 a unit for. They have to be pre-approved before we can do that. They're through certain platforms that we have. And then for employment, if they choose the training path, once they finish training, get their certification and go on to get a job, or if they choose, hey, I've got a lot of experience, maybe I just want full-time employment and I need help with that. Once they work 1 week in their full-time position, they get $500. And if they've retained that at 3 months, they earn another $500. So that's pretty much the incentives. Now for career services, those they earn as they go along. They don't have to wait to get that at the end of the program. Where am I here? Let me go back up. Hold on. So the benefits and incentives, $2,700 in cash and incentives for financial literacy. That's paid at the end of the 1-year financial literacy program. There's more incentives, the ones I just talked about through career services. The matching contribution into this child savings account up to $250. They'll earn lifelong financial planning skills. There's a whole community of support, including mentors, and the opportunity for career advancement. It is an eligibility program, so participants need to be low income. They need to either be unemployed or underemployed. In other words, they need to, if they're not earning a self-sufficient wage, then they're underemployed. They need to be interested in financial planning skills, understand that it's a year-long commitment, has a family. We are enrolling some individuals, but we're trying to keep to that multi-generational goal that we had to begin with. So, but on a case-by-case basis, we will enroll individuals, and they have to be interested in full-time employment. That's for WI, to be eligible for WIOA, the outcome has to be full-time employment. There's a QR code here if you want to refer an interested client. And then here's our contact information, both Kevi and I. Any questions?
Could you go back to the QR code so I can screen grab it?
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. We can send this presentation out too if anybody is interested in it.
Take a quick picture of it.
And honestly, we can drop off any flyers. We have a lot of flyers with our QR code, with a phone number, with any information. We are currently recruiting people to start signing up for our October cohort, and then we'll have one in January and then one in April. So it's kind of like a rolling system where we just keep going. We take a break up from a cohort for financial literacy in the summer because nobody wants to do it in the summer. They're all outside and enjoying the weather. But we do have the next one starting in October. And if anyone would like me to drop off flyers, you can just put it in the chat where you're at, and I will gladly drop them off. OC or non-OC people.
If you have an electronic version, I could just shoot out and share with the coalition. That
Sure.
would be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a couple questions in chat here. One is that Heidi with Road to Home was wondering about an age limit for services. She was thinking of teenagers, and when she asked that question, that made me think of families that have teenage children. So curious what your answer is there.
Yeah, so 18 to 24 is our out of school youth program. So 18 really is the minimum age. There's no maximum age. You could be 90, I suppose, and still want to be part of the program.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Chad asked a question, is the community jobs program a part of EXA?
No.
Okay. And Lewis has a question. Checking his assumption, can EXA program participation be used to help satisfy workforce first requirements from DSHS for households receiving TANF?
Yes, so FLAIR counts, 1 hour a month of job search counts, and then work experience counts.
Great, thank you. While people are thinking of other questions, I just want to mention that I took the FLAIR class probably 13 years ago. And I noticed, I don't know whether it's Jim or Carol Kozad that joined our meeting, but Jim taught the class. And I attended as a mentor. I wasn't working at this agency, I was working at another. So I went with my client. It made her feel more comfortable. And we had a great experience. But the thing that really happened for me personally is I learned how to control my debt. And taking what I learned in Flair and applying it to my own life helped me get out of credit card debt, and I have not been back. So it's an excellent class. It's not as much of a time commitment as it sounds. It's only just a few hours a week, but it's really worthwhile, and you learn things that you carry with you for life. Okay. Any other questions for our panel? All right. Thank you so much for your time today. Really, really appreciate it. Really great presentations. So many resources. I had no idea where they were there. And I'm really excited about the compensation component of this program. I think that's going to really keep people engaged. So thank you so much. I'm going to launch another poll, and it's not going to be a poll about who would win in a fight, a chicken versus a monkey. This one's serious. But since we only have 30 odd folks here today, I may do this again in the future. Uh-oh, how do I get to my poll? I have another poll. Okay, this poll is asking you about where you want to meet. We've been meeting virtually for a really long time. For some folks, it works very conveniently. You don't have to drive or find parking. But for others, you know, we're really missing that in-person touch. So just want to get a feel of the room, see how y'all feel about where we meet. And, you know, if the group is leaning towards in-person, then we'll find a place to do that. I'm looking at the results right now. So far, the majority are leaning towards Zoom. So if you have a strong opinion, be sure you vote in the poll. And I'll just put that to the side for a moment and let you give a chance to think about it and say your answer. And I think we'll just keep moving on our agenda here. The next item on it is an update from the city of Bellingham. Katie, do you mind doing that for us?
Yeah, thanks, Terry. And thanks to all our speakers today. It's been a pleasure to learn so much more about these great resources. So thank you for your presentations and your time. I have a few city updates today. The first update I want to share with this group is about an RFP opportunity that the city released last week to solicit proposals to operate a safe parking program. It's a pretty broad RFP. The city isn't establishing a minimum number of spaces that are needed to be provided, but proposers should plan to operate their proposed programming for at least 6 months and have a site identified and included in their response. The RFP closes on August 16th, and the last day to submit questions related to this opportunity is August 9th. If folks are interested in this opportunity, the RFP can be found on the city's procurement portal, which is at procureware.com. Feel free to reach out to me. My email's in the chat if there's any questions about how to sign up for the city's procurement portal. I can also put my email in the chat when I'm done giving updates as well. The second update I have is about the launch of the city's comprehensive plan. So during our city council meeting on July 10th, our planning staff kicked off our process of updating our city's comprehensive plan, or our comp plan. The comp plan is a 20-year plan that we use to guide our city's growth, and it includes goals and policy recommendations around housing and capital investments and city programs. Right now, our staff is in the listening and broad engagement phase of the planning process. So it's a great time for members of the public, like you all, to offer your insights and your feedback on what you would like Bellingham to look like in the future. I'm going to put the comp plan website in the chat. I'll ask folks on this meeting to please visit that webpage and sign up for updates. There's going to be a survey that's going to be launched next week. So once you've signed up for updates, you'll be sent the survey. Once it's launched and you can participate, and your responses will ultimately help shape the priorities that will inform that final plan. So yeah, I'll put that website in the chat, and that's all I have for city updates today. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Katie. And I just want to mention that I've been through this procurement process with an RFP recently, and I'm happy to help. You want help with your RFP, you want help with your budget, you know, hit me up. I will help. And I bet you if I don't know the answer to something, I'll find someone else who does. So I just want to offer that support because we really need safe parking. We need more people to participate and share the load. So enough about that. Moving on to Whatcom County update. I think Ashley Galenzi is here to share.
Yeah, thanks, Terry.
Thank you.
For those who I have not met yet, my name is Ashley Galenzi and I work with Whatcom County Health and Community Services and the Housing and Homeless Services Program. I have a couple updates. One of those also about an RFP for severe weather sheltering. We released an RFP for severe weather sheltering outside of the city of Bellingham. That is now closed. We had one agency that responded to that RFP. And we're now working with them to set expectations. That will probably be 15 beds available in Ferndale for when those thresholds are met for severe weather. That shelter operated for about 30 days last winter. So we're budgeting for 40 days this year to be on the safe side. An RFP is currently open for a Bellingham-based severe weather shelter. That can be found on our website. If you have questions about that, there's contacts on there. And I'm not as prepared as Katie, and I don't know off the top of my head when that closes, but I can look that up right after I'm finished here. Next update is that Housing and Homeless Services leadership will be giving a presentation to City Council on August 14th to talk about the PIT count and homelessness in general. So if folks are interested in joining that, you can find out how to join that meeting on the city's website. The last update I have is about the local plan update. We've heard from Commerce that there's been a new timeline put out for that. So final drafts of the new plan will be due in June of 2025. And we anticipate to start working on that in 2024. We plan to work with a broad group of stakeholders to update strategies and respond to changes in the housing environment since the 2019 plan. And we'll be sure to share more about that early next year.
Any questions for Ashley? I want to say, just like the city RFP, I would also offer any support with anyone wanting to respond to the county's RFP. I realize there's something I forgot to mention that I wanted to that was in the chat, and that is the LinkedIn resources that were mentioned. There's a website posted by Rebecca Judd from the Bellingham Library. So I want to call out that link in the chat if you're interested in pursuing some of those LinkedIn resources. As far as the Homeless Service Center updates, I have some. The way station should be breaking ground imminently. That's exciting. Way Station, again, is a project that is a partnership between Opportunity Council, Peace Health, Unity County Northwest, and the county who owns the property and is heading up all of the construction, essentially. So the building at 1500 State Street is going to be remodeled. It's not changing the footprint of the building in any way, but essentially the downstairs area divided in two. Half will be operated by Unity Care. That's day services for hygiene services, showers, laundry, and also to connect with clinicians. And the other side will be medical respite, taking referrals from St. Joseph's, essentially, for folks who need to leave the hospital, but don't have a place to recover from their illness. So we'll be running that at Opportunity Council. That'll be a 24/7 program. So that's a lot coming up. One thing that the homeless outreach team has done in partnership with the mission, and it's a shame Brittany had to jump off, but we have worked out a way to use their shower trailer to provide showers at the Salvation Army's property. And where this is, it's where the old thrift store used to be. So what is that, Birchwood? Across from the former Big Lots. I guess the Big Lots is still there in a different spot. But anyways, it's in that property, and it's every Thursday they're providing showers for folks. This is our third week. So the first week they gave out 5 showers. The second week was 14. This one was over 20. So obviously there is demand and need for it. And I'm hearing that people are just really happy to be able to get a shower. And it's coinciding with the day that Salvation Army provides their food bank. So we've already got some folks that were there anyway. So we have that happening. But in addition to that, I responded to the RFP for the city to provide additional shower services through the weekend. And so we're working on the finishing touches of developing that program. And then I'm going to be recruiting for 3 jobs. It'll be 30 hours each a week, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, to operate a shower trailer that is going to be downtown. So just want to put that out there. If you know people who are interested, be on the lookout for that. I think that's everything I had to say. Aside from that, I just want to say about the presenters today, like, I really appreciate the focus they have on ending poverty. And when we hear conversations in the community about homelessness, depending on where you look, and I look in all the places, and people link these things to drug use and mental health and all the problems that are associated and affiliated with homelessness, which may or may not be the cause of homelessness. But the cause of homelessness, it occurs to me, is poverty. So if we're going to alleviate poverty, we need to improve the way people can access wealth. And the first step is employment and GED services and so forth. So these programs work, and I can't thank our presenters enough today for being here. And I just ran out of things to say, so that we have some time. If there's any public comments or requests for additional topics or anything else that's not on the agenda, I'll just go ahead and stop talking so others can speak up.
I had a follow-up question just on the what you mentioned about the Shower Connect program, the expansion. Is there any estimated date for when you might be able to offer those additional days?
That is such a good question. I should also clarify that the intent of this is kind of to bridge until the way station is open, right? So it'll probably be for a year. There's a lot of interest in doing it right now, and we want to get it going as quickly as we can, but we've got to recruit and interview and re-interview and hire and background check, and that stuff takes a while. So I was supposed to give Katie Sullivan this exact answer by lunch today, and my best guess is at a minimum 60 days just to recruit. But that'll also give us time to work on our systems, making sure we have laundry services in place and storage spaces and all the logistics of providing a shower. So it was kind of an answer. Yeah, I think ideally it would be 60 days. We'll try.
Yeah, I think that's definitely helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Trista. Anybody else? Dawn.
All right. How's my audio?
I hear you, but I can't see you very well.
Oh, well,
You're good though.
okay. I'm not sure how to, well, I don't know how important my face is. So last week, may I give an update on my trip to Seattle for the block project? Is that all right? So, Councilmember Christina Martins, her intern, and Pam Khan from Pioneer Human Services and a couple of social workers, we went down to tour the block project. And so that it went really well, and I got really emotional like 5 times. And so these are regeneratively designed accessory dwelling units that are interior 130 square feet, exterior 230 square feet. Most of them have solar panels on top. They produce more energy than they use. the residents that are housed in them are formerly homeless long-term. You know, they were chronically homeless, and they are at a place in their life where they can be mostly independent. They still keep a case manager. They don't pay rent. They are neighbors with the main house that where the ADU on that land where it is. They're neighbors, and most of the interfacing in terms of like logistics is between the block project and the land and the homeowners. And then the folks in the block home are neighbors. So it's 75,000 a unit to build. How they've got it worked out is, for now, with this leasing arrangement, is that again, the folks who live in the block home don't pay rent, but if the main house in the mainland has to get sold, one day they'll just sell the ADU with the main home, and that's priced out at $150,000 because of the incredibly high quality of the build. So the wood is all Forest Stewardship Council wood. It's R50 in terms of insulation. That is incredibly awesome. That would be great for anybody with migraines or super sensitivity to any kind of humidity or barometric pressure change, fibromyalgia, what have you. Like, and the solar panels that are on top of the roof, they get plugged in. The energy goes right back into the main home. Now, well, there's so many details. Oh, so the way it's modular build. And so there's these jigs or templates. They have a warehouse. It's so nice and neat, and it's super accessible to different volunteers of varying skill sets. So you get a piece of wood and you put it down on one of the jigs, and there's guides to help you make these puzzle pieces to make these panels, and they can put up a home in a week, 5 days, a week. So you could put up, one warehouse could put up 52 homes in a year. And so right now they're looking at like how to scale. They have 7 homeowners that are interested next, and so they're still working on getting deeper roots and stronger roots before they keep branching out. But it was just a super successful tour. I'm really going to be working hard to bringing at least one variation of the block project to Whatcom. And I need input and people to feel invested in it, at least to give it a shot, to look at. If they also Block Project sells these homes to nonprofits. They're very open source with their knowledge base. As long as you take this information and don't try to make profit off of it just for the self, and that it really goes to helping low income folks, they're super open source about it. It's awesome. And then I was thinking, like, if we could partner with our school districts with their CTE classes and the carpentry classes, and we could teach our high schoolers how to build regeneratively designed tiny homes, with like all of this in mind of like, it tackles climate change. It adds to the housing stock. It helps the most vulnerable among us. Like, I'm all excited. So there's another, so that's one of the next steps here. And that's where the dream that's the next stage of the dream. And so the conversations are going to continue. And I'm really excited to one day hear, to hear more about like Pam's side of it too. There's only been one eviction that they've had out of their 15 homes. And that's a very complicated story, but otherwise they've had just really roaring success with this. So yeah. Okay, I don't know what else to say, but please keep an ear out, and if if you could send good vibes toward this dream to keep moving in the right direction, I would appreciate it.
Thanks, Vaughn. That program sounds amazing. And Katie Sullivan put a link in the chat to learn more about it. So I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. That sounds like a really cool program. Any other comments before we adjourn? Okay, excuse me. Lorelai is asking in the chat about the shower. So the interim showers that I'm hoping to launch in 60-ish days, that'll be operated by Opportunity Council as a part of the outreach team. And the partnership with the mission, will they be rolling out to the county? We are partnering with the mission. We're only doing that on Thursdays. So we'll continue to do that on Thursdays, and then we'll have a new team to work showers Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so that our outreach team can continue to do outreach. The mission, I kind of wish Brittany was still here, because they have a volunteer hub that they coordinate, so people can sign into that and become volunteers. And if they volunteer to operate the shower truck, and there's some paperwork, negotiation, etc. involved in that, they can also borrow the shower truck in the community. So I would say, could they go to the county with the missions truck? Perhaps other volunteers could, but HOT will not be doing that. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Tickle in my throat. No county showers unit. I gotta just encourage you to talk to the mission, because I don't know what their plans are with their shower truck. But again, people can get showers at the Salvation Army on Thursdays, and shortly we'll be able to get showers at a location downtown. Okay, if there's nothing else, I think we'll adjourn right on time. I'm so impressed. Thank you, everybody, for hanging there with me to the end, and we'll see you in a couple months. Take care.